Today, our exploration is on Drishti. A Drishti is a focal point that we use during a Kundalini yoga practice, and it has the benefit of, number one, creating body-mind awareness. Number two, setting an intention, setting your gaze allows you to move forward into that position, keep yourself safe. And number three, it really brings about its own specific kind of effects. The optic nerve is one of the nerve systems that is closest to the surface of the body. And so as we play around with focal points using the eyes, we also have incredible opportunity to impact the vagus nerve, the nervous system itself, and also the microglands of the body. So really fascinating, and also sometimes can be super challenging. And so today's exploration is based off of some of the questions I've received on my YouTube channel, as well as the Kundalini yoga teachers in training. And so we thought today would be a good day to do a deep dive into this. And joining me today is a friend of YogaVision and a former grad, Vanessa. Vanessa, always good to have you. And today we're going to focus on eyeballs. So this is all good. And so probably the most, let's start with number one. This is probably the most popular, most commonly used, and that is to focus in between the eyebrows and slightly above. And so what we're tracking towards is the third eye point. And so for some of you who have written to me or who have asked the question in class, this is hard to get to. I just can't seem to do it without straining my eyes or getting a little dizzy. So how can I go about doing this differently? And so here is option number one. So you can see here that Vanessa's already got into the position. She's closed her eyes. And I'm going to guess, though I can't tell, that she's focusing her eyes a little bit upwards towards the middle of her forehead, just above her nose. And because Vanessa's been practicing for a while, that looks fairly effortless. Now, if you're just starting off on your journey or you found this to be challenging, here's my suggestion. Take your finger, your index finger, and keep your eyes open. So here you're just going to open your eyes and then settle your fingertip on that point. Good. And just sit here for a moment. Feel the experience of having your finger. So remember, we're creating a mind-body experience. We're creating a sensory experience. And then close your eyes, keep your finger there, close your eyes, and just notice and feel into the sensation. Okay, so here we're just leaving the eyes gently where they are, and now start to look upwards into that spot. And at the same time, now close your eyes, gently look upwards into that spot with your eyes closed, and now float your hand away from your face. And see if you can hold your gaze in that position just above your eyebrows. Good. So there's option number one, is to create a little bit of mind-body experience by using the tip of your finger. And maybe for the first little while, you keep the finger there for a little bit longer. Maybe you keep it in place while you're meditating or while you're focusing, and draw your eyes upwards. And then one day you'll wake up and this will be something that feels a little bit more automatic and a little bit more gentle. Very good. That's option number one for one of the most, or that's one of the most common drishtis, focal points for Kundalini yoga. So now we want to reset. So please do follow along with us. It's really good to have this experience and listen to the walkthrough, because sometimes in the videos, I generally go a little bit faster. And so here we're having a chance to break it all down and get a little bit more understanding about why things are happening the way they are. The next one that happens quite often in a meditation is on the tip of the nose. And again, this can feel a little bit like, oh, I'm feeling a little cross-eyed, or it's feeling uncomfortable. And that's because we're exercising all the muscles around the eyes, and we're exploring what it's like to actually focus in a slightly different position. So from here, when we focus on the tip of the nose, we're actually balancing both hemispheres of the brain, because both eyes are focusing downwards. This is the part of the brain that's getting exercise, which is the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is where your consciousness is residing, as opposed to back here, which is the more instinctual part of the brain, more in charge of fight and flight. Here's where we do some honest thinking about why we're doing what we're doing. So here we bring in the energy of the pituitary gland, which is one of the micro organs of the body that's responsible for regulating the nervous system, regulating a lot of body functions like sleeping and digestion and reproduction. So here, what I'd like you to do again is to simply touch down on that part of your nose. So we're sliding all the way down from your third eye and then focusing here on the tip of the nose. Good. And then with your eyes open, just take a look here. Take a look downwards, see if you can see your fingers. Good. And then close your eyes just a little bit more, see if you can see your fingers. And then float your hands away from your nose. So you may find that you need a little bit of practice here. It might take a few rounds to really understand how to balance both eyes without causing strain. Remember, it's a very gentle focus. We're not looking at the tip of the nose. We're gazing towards the tip of the nose. Symbolically, we're creating vision. And we're also balancing the emotions. Okay. That's number 2, tip of the nose. Nicely done. You can open up your eyes. Good. And then we're moving on now to the crown of the head, so just above the head. And we're going to use the same kind of ideas. We're going to use sensory experience, so using the body itself, the hand in this case, in order to create some sensation above the head. And then once we have that gaze, we're going to remove the hand. So here, keeping your eyes open, just focus on the sensation of your hand on top of your head. Good. And now gently close your eyes and look up towards your hand. And then once you have that experience of feeling and sensing in, you can remove your hand by floating it away from the top of your head, and then keep your gaze turned upwards. We're focusing on the pineal gland, again, one of the major regulatory systems of the body, or in charge of taking care of all the regulatory systems in your body. Between the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, there's always a conversation going forward. They're not far apart in the body itself. They're both housed in the brain, and they inform all the other glands and organs in the body. Here, as you focus upwards and outwards through your crown, we're exploring expansion, God consciousness, and really allowing a sense of upliftment. This is your crown chakra, your sense of being one with the universe, your intuition. Beautiful. All right, so you can slowly and gently open your eyes. Good work. And then here's number 4. These are, again, remember the top 4 ways to explore different Drishti points, and a little bit more instruction on how to get there if you've been finding a bit of a challenge there. The last one is to keep your eyes just a little bit open. So you may see this in your Kriyas, or you may hear this as either 1/10 open or 9/10 closed. Same thing. I usually generally tend to say, leave your eyes just a little bit open, leave a little bit of light coming in. Now, remember, most meditations we're used to closing our eyes, so this is going to require a little bit more diligence. And it's not particularly hard. It's just a matter of remembering and then also cueing yourself to do it. So from here, opening your eyes full and bright, and then softly, gently closing them halfway. So just hold halfway here and notice all the things that you no longer can see. Notice how the light is coming in, and then softly, gracefully come down a little bit more. Not all the way closed, leaving a little tiny strip of light there. What we're doing in this drishti is stabilizing the optic nerve. We're decreasing sensory input. So in other words, releasing the outward world and bringing a more inward focus. And this has the benefit of calming and relaxing the body. All of these different drishtis have the effect of calming the Sushumna Nadi, the major nerve or nadi within the body. So the ancient yogis referred to these pathways in the bodies as nadis, not nerves, but nadis. And what we're doing here is calming and relaxing all of those different nervous system elements in order to bring about specific effects in each and every meditation. So there we go. You can open your eyes, Vanessa. Thank you very much for being the best demonstrator ever. And I know this is all a little bit challenging, and some of it might be new for some of you watching. And just know that it takes a little bit of practice, just like with any other posture. Every single one of these elements has a little bit of a challenge added to it. Why? Because we're going out of the comfort of regular day-to-day life and expanding our experience, our human experience, so that we can cultivate different kinds of benefits, different kind of experience, and that off the mat, we have all of that goodwill to draw on. So I hope that was helpful for you. My name is Salimah, yoga therapist. This is the final episode of this series of modifications presented during Kundalini Yoga teacher training so that you can get the best out of your practice and also pass that on to your students. Until next time, bye for now.